There are signals all around us. Most of them go unnoticed. Some are born able to sense them, born with the veil still present. A mark said to thin the boundary between worlds. For a white witch, the boundary never fully closes. It becomes something you can see through, something you can feel. Respond not to fear the unknown, but to understand it, to listen when it reaches back beyond the veil with Tracy Jones.
Good evening and welcome to Beyond the Veil with the Paranormal White Witch. That's me, Tracy Jones. A couple of things before I bring my really, really cool guest out. I wanted to let you know that if you have a question or a problem or concern, or you don't feel comfortable talking to people about your experiences, you can certainly talk to me. I will not judge you. I don't believe that there are stupid questions. However, don't take that as, like a test. Let's just see how far we can go. Anyway, you can always get a hold of me on my Facebook page, which is Tracy Lynn Jones, and please notice that Tracy is Tracey. And you can also send me a message on my Gmail account, which is paranormalwhitewitch@gmail.com. I also have a book that is out. Now let me see if I can get all these various buttons down. I'm doing pretty good tonight. Much better than I have in the past. So we'll see. Okay, you can get my book, which is called Witchcraft by Blood and Tradition, A Beginner's Guide, and a couple of different places. You can get that on Amazon. You buy Kindle, paperback, or hardback, or you can go to the Crafty Witch Soiree in the Dundalk Flea Market. They're there every Saturday and Sunday and have the most amazing items. And the prices are incredible. They carry my book as well. And wanted to let you know that not only is tonight brought to you by Crafty Witch Soiree, it is also brought to you by Strange Knocks magazine. This is a magazine you want to keep. Some of the older people might remember way back in the day when National Geographic had that nice thick stock. That's what this is. It's more like a cocktail book, but the stories are fascinating. The pictures are gorgeous. So there is that. And I wanted to thank some people for getting me to where I am, and namely, that would be Monsters Unleashed, and they are having a festival October 9th through the 12th. That's Mike and then his daughter Trisha. They're awesome people. Check out their show. It's every Saturday, I believe. And Mike is also an author. You can catch his books on Amazon. You can see there's 2 for the kids and then 2 for the parents. And also, I would like to say thank you to Cindy, aka Giggles, and Donna. And I'm getting to know Amanda and I'm getting to know Rick. So I'm just going to say a preemptive thank you for all your help and everything. They're on Tuesdays, I think, Thursdays. I don't know. Look them up. You'll find them. And then, of course, my brothers at NCI, who are just the best in the world. And they are every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. And one of the members, George Lunsford, has a book also, several books on Amazon. You can catch him there. And I do believe that is, that's the last one. So there I am. Well, I'm doing pretty good. I'm impressed with myself. I'm going to bring out my guest now. His name is Thomas Patrick. Welcome, Thomas.
Hey, how are you?
I'm getting these stupid buttons. Okay.
You did it.
You don't know. You don't know the struggle is. I mean, I know it's simple and it's repetitive and you get to know it. But this, like, when something goes glitchy, I tend to just go, Anyway.
I have no idea how all that stuff works.
I am not technology inclined.
I have a producer that produces my show. So they move all the buttons. I just talk.
Well, the gentleman from, let me see how this is going to work. From Monsters Unleashed, he is the reason I know, he and his daughter are the reason that I can do as much as I can do because, you know, they're so patient, they're so kind. And I still call them up with ridiculous elementary school questions, and they never make me feel bad. They're wonderful people.
Well, that's
So,
good.
at any rate,
You come from Generation X, and yeah, we don't know how all these buttons and gadgets work. So we just ride our bikes until the lights go out, and then we get back home.
you know, I never learned to ride a bike ever.
No,
I'm probably the only Gen Xer that never rode a bike.
really. So you had to walk everywhere around town until the
Yeah,
cowbell rang to come home for dinner.
pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, you hear your mom yell out the door, and you bet to come home.
Yeah.
So, please introduce yourself, Thomas, and tell us about you.
Thomas Patrick. So I don't want to go way too far back, but I've been involved in the community for, as I like to say, since the Dead Sea was only sick, and it's like a long time. But I started out at a young age. I didn't know why I felt things the way I felt. I had a chance meeting with Ed and Lorraine Warren, and Lorraine really helped me with my gifts.
Okay.
Just to get with them, but gave me building blocks. I had to learn a lot more on my own, but
Mhm.
I owe a lot to her to really give me a name to what it was. So I didn't think I was the crazy kid or have to get committed or anything like that. So that was very
Mhm.
helpful at a young age.
Okay.
I ran with it, started doing home cases on my own after I learned a lot, because home cases aren't for everybody. There's a lot that goes into it. I started doing those, garnered the nickname the Archangel of the Paranormal.
That was
And
my other question because I
yeah,
had somebody ask that on Facebook. The
yeah.
Archangel, the paranormal. So, how did that come
There's a
about? That
lot,
name?
a lot that goes into it, when you're talking about your foray into demonology, parapsychology, shamanism, and all that. It's just, you come in. I think after a while, I started getting a reputation when people couldn't come to a conclusion on a case. I would
Hmm.
get called in to assist and try and come to a conclusion.
Okay.
So that's really where the nickname came. It's like,
Okay.
like an exorcism, and when all else fails, call on the
Yeah.
Archangel Michael. So,
Okay.
and
Okay.
did I ever, I was given that, I ran with it, but just
There
like
are
anything
worse
else,
nicknames in the
yeah,
world to have than the Archangel of the Paranormal. Did
it's
you find that
okay.
when you were doing the houses, the investigations, everybody thinks they have a demon because they hear a noise and this and that, and that's what
Yeah.
Hollywood has taught them. But did you find more times than not it was just nothing was there? It was either their electricity was screwed up, or the house was a hot mess, or just something that you could explain.
Basically, yes.
Hmm.
Now, when you can't explain it, there's the other layer of it that my group that I co-founded with my partner, and there's a couple other people, called Wardruna. That's our healing network, but that does home cases, but that goes beyond the paranormal also.
Okay.
It's healing ancestral trauma that we hold on to. It's in our DNA. You got your epigenetics, how it's passed on the generation, and just breaking those chains and
Okay.
helping people deal with that. Now, in a home case, a lot of times, a lot of this stuff is manifested through trauma,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And
Makes sense.
you could create your own haunting.
Yeah.
Again, all these TV shows are on nowadays. When people are going through trauma, they're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
that must be what's going on. I have a house haunting." Or, a lot of times there's some people nowadays, they'll say my house is haunted because they want to get on TV.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
those types of things. So you really have to weigh certain things. And I mean, our group gets hundreds of calls,
Hmm.
all over national, international, and you have to weed through it. You not only have to
Right.
do the history of the area, you really have to do an intake of their psychological level. Good for me that I do have that background,
Okay.
but we have psychiatrists, licensed therapists, everybody on our team that we could run this stuff through. But
Hmm.
with our home cases and all that, I oversee that. But our backup team is Penn Paranormal at Mary Jo Chudley, so
Okay.
she's kind of responsible for that aspect also. So there's like people that are involved with Wardruna are what I want to call is the top in the industry at certain things. We
Okay.
do have psychiatrists that deal with healing type of modalities like EMDR, which helps
What
with
is that?
trauma. What it is they noticed with some studies back in the day in the 80s, this woman found that, a lot of times with trauma, there's like hand movement where people are kind of tranced to that,
Okay.
where this woman found out that she kind of healed with trauma with hand movement. So what it is you sit with somebody and you say, okay, bring you back to that moment. All right. I want you to give me on a scale of 1 to 10. How does the trauma feel? You say 10. Then you work through it. Then you do a few moments of hand movement where they watch, where
Okay.
it's with the brain cortex and all that. It's retraining. It's
Okay.
desensitizing the trauma to the point it's still there, but it's desensitized where now you could deal with it, where it's not crippling. All
Okay.
right. Then there's another method which is a little deeper called the deep brain regression. So it's almost
Okay.
like you're going into a trance and it's helping heal the brain down to that point where it's you know the point you're like shaking. It's like the trauma is like coming off you. It's
Okay.
incredible. It's just another way of helping with that without the talk therapy, because some people don't want to do talk therapy. That's where a lot of our psychic mediums come in,
Right.
because a lot of times people have that stigma. They don't want to be known that they have a psychiatric problem.
Right.
So a lot of times they want answers, so they go see a psychic.
Hmm.
But our group, we figure that we want to get through the stigma to help these people. So we're able to talk to the ancestors,
Right.
get them the answers that they need, and then say, hey, next step is to go into therapy. And they agree to it because we've
Right.
gotten to the
You
solution.
prepped them, sort of.
Exactly. And that's what we want to do. Enough people don't want to do that. So even with home cases, you really have to look at it. When you go in, you have to help your client and you have to help spirit and you have to come up with a solution.
Right.
A lot of people go in and they don't give that healing solution. Too many people nowadays go in, they get their evidence, they pop it up on YouTube, get all their views and monetize it, whatever. But a lot of times I go back to some of these cases because the people still have problems. And then I have to
Right.
go in. And not only am I dealing with the energy left by the people that were there, now I got to deal with the original energy. So it's if you're not prepared to do it,
Hmm.
um, I really suggest that people be wary of doing home cases. It's not for inexperience and all that.
Yeah.
A
And
lot of times
you
those
don't
incidents.
know the people at the house. You have to be careful because there's a lot of
Mhm.
charlatans out there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you charge or not. That's none of my business. But
Mhm.
some people, like, they put out thousands and thousands of dollars for somebody who is a complete fraud.
Mhm.
You guys, I would trust with everything.
Well, the reason why a lot of people trust us is because we don't charge for the investigation.
Okay.
Now, if you have trauma that needs to be healed, yeah, there's that, but that's totally different. That's a different type of service. A lot of times you go into a home case, you can't guarantee an outcome.
Okay.
I can't charge for that. I
Right.
learned, and Lorraine never charged. It's just something that's embedded in some of us old farts. Um, but the thing is yeah, sometimes there's travel. At certain points, there's research and all that, but
Yeah.
the initial investigation, no,
Right.
no,
Right. No, I get
you don't
that.
want to do that.
Right.
But the stuff
I,
outside of that afterwards to help, then yeah, I can't have a practitioner work with you and not have them, get their hourly rate or whatever. But it is something that will help you and guide you and put you on a better path. So
okay.
the value of that is you can't put a number on that.
No. No.
Mhm.
So I'm going to pull up one of your other pictures here. Let's see. Okay. Can I do that one? Oh yeah. Here's a good one.
There you go.
Now, is that the? Let me get us out of here.
Mhm.
Let's see if I can do this. Nope, not that way.
Yep. There you
Oh, I
go.
did it. I did it. I did it. Cool. Very cool. All right.
That's awesome.
So, what is this?
So that is the shaman and the showman. So that's myself and my business partner, Charles Rosenet.
Okay.
We are we're an events group. We're a global events group. We do events all over the world. Connecticut Witch and Culture Festival, that's August 8th and 9th, and then the big Salem Paracon and Horror Fest, that is going to be November 14th this year. Those are the three big ones we do. We also do Dracula tours. We take people to Transylvania and bring them on the footsteps of Bram Stoker's Dracula and also the actual history of Vlad Tepes,
Okay.
Vlad the Impaler. This year, we have a group we're bringing to England and doing a ghost tours of England. We're actually taking them to Whitechapel and put them on the footsteps of Jack the Ripper. So
Okay.
that's going on. So, I mean, we do global events all over um, the country, all over the world, and we bring that and make sure it's a world-class event, make sure we have all the best people there for you to either learn or just sit back and enjoy the entertainment. But we have all kinds, we do psychic fairs all over the place. I'm sponsoring one coming up at the end of this month
Okay.
where Stacia Wills, my better half, she's a shaman. She'll be leading off that psychic fair. And we'll also be having the Hollywood psychic coming to this event, Kenneth
Okay.
Drake. So he'll
Okay.
be there for this event. That is at a Billy's Acapella Martini Bar in Menor, Ohio. So that's like the next upcoming one. And we're doing a lot of stuff this year, but that's with my partner as the shaman and the showman. We've been
Okay.
at this for a while. Charles has been at this for a long time. He's been doing the music, monsters, and paranormal. But paranormal is more my side. He's a monster guy, horror guy, and all that. But he's
Well,
gotten really in depth with the paranormal. Has gotten a lot better with it.
check
So
this out real quick. This is oh, no, don't hit that button. Show. There we go. This is Trisha. She's part of Monsters Unleashed. She's Mike's daughter.
okay,
And I have a feeling I know who this is with the shenanigans, but a vampire witch. No, darling, you are not a vampire witch. Although she does want to go to Transylvania now.
yeah.
So,
So it's Drac Tours,
okay.
dractours.com. They go out at the um, by the time it kind of overshoots it, like October into the
Hmm.
beginning of November, and on Halloween night, you're actually in Vlad Tepes's castle celebrating Halloween. So
Now, since you're in Transylvania, have you ever been to the Hoyabacha forest?
now, believe it or not, Charles and I run this event. I'm not at all the events. He doesn't even
Okay.
go anymore. He used to go. We have a local that does the tour for us. Charles just sees him off at the airport.
Okay.
But sooner or later, him and I will end up there together. But I have heard of the forest and all that, and Charles has been there. He's told me about it. You know, he's an
I
author and all that, and he's written about that type of stuff. So
If money were no object, I would go tomorrow. I mean, the only thing I know of it is from the shows that I've watched, and
yeah,
that would be primarily like Josh Gates. And I
yeah.
remember the first time they went, and they had one of their cameramen out there. I don't know if you saw the episode or not.
Mhm.
And he was doing his solo time, and then all of a sudden, you just see him get picked up and thrown.
Hmm.
And most people go, "Oh God, no!" I'm thinking that's so freaking cool. I want to experience that. So,
I tell you, I think in the over 40 years I've been at this, I think I've had pretty much everything happen to me. And I
mhm.
think we were talking earlier, the only thing I have never seen is a Bigfoot. So
Okay, yeah,
that's
yeah.
about it. It's the only thing I'm missing. But, you know, close. You know, if I was looking left instead of right when we were down in Florida, and then I would have saw the skunk ape that Stacia saw. So
Wow. And then I see we're going to be in Gettysburg.
yeah, that's her and I. We're gonna be vending and being at Gettysburg for the big bash. It's very important, you know, the wounded veterans and all that. With our group Wardruna, we do work with a lot of PTSD vets through the
Okay.
VA. The VA oversees us a lot with what we do. Same with the Cleveland Clinic, University Hospital. We have a lot of the doctors, medical teams there that that oversee and are into what we do with Wardruna. So I think it's important that we're at places like the Gettysburg Bash because of the wounded vets. And we have a lot of other things coming up. The Hollow in New Jersey and Galloway, New Jersey, that has a common theme of mental health awareness. So we're going to be
Okay.
speaking at that. Uh, so there's so many that are coming up with that type of theme.
Okay.
But we're going to be all over the country this year. I think we're going to be in about 19 different states during the spooky season.
Wow.
Just talking about Wardruna, paranormal in general. Some places want me to talk about my background and profiling and all that. So that's the other part of thing,
Oh,
the true crime side.
speaking of which, this was not planned.
There
Okay,
you
look, it just
go.
happened to be the next picture.
Yeah.
So, what is this about?
So I I left the state of Florida back in 2007. For my time there, I worked at a psychiatric prison. I had to garner some more money because at the time I moved down there, I was divorced. So I was taking on all these jobs, and I happened to run into being the crisis manager for the region. And with that
Okay.
training, I had to go through training with the FBI for crisis management, but I learned how to profile too. So part of that, it was just part of the job where the inmates in that area, I would do study on and data and profile them to the point where if anything happened in any of the prisons in the region, I would be able to react with data to be able to help the situation. So after I left there, it became more of it was always a big thing for me. One of my favorite movies of all time is Silence of the Lambs, those types of movies. And I always had that true crime love and all that, and being able to work in the prison for the time I did. Then when I got out, I still had people calling me to get an opinion. There's been a
Wow.
few books that have been out that I've helped people profile to make it look believable or actual people. Right now, I'm currently working with a friend on her book. She has an actual case that she wanted me to take a look at the guy just to get the true character, but it's a
Right.
real person. So it's a
Okay.
matter of her interviews with the guy, information that she has, putting together a profile to give the book a little bit more. It's
Hmm.
already going to be a great book, anyways, but the thing is to give a little more touch on it. So it's good because later on I'm still getting calls, which I guess I feel good about because people
Yeah.
still recognize that I'm able to help. Because as a profile, I was a shaman too, and nobody knew at the time.
Right.
But also along with it, being a profiler, the most important thing to be good at it is to have life experience. With that life
Yes.
experience, I'm also a shaman. I pick up on things that most don't, but I also have my training, but I also
Hmm.
have my traumas of growing up, of life experience. When you put that
Hmm.
all together, it tends to be that perfect storm where sometimes I'm able to get something somebody else can't. And you work
Hmm.
together as a team and you're able to come up with solutions or get enough evidence or get the best model of somebody. So when you do bring somebody in, it's easier to get facts and get a conviction.
Hmm.
So those are stuff that I still get called on. I always appreciate still being recognized for that. But
Sure.
even with that and the paranormal, they go hand in hand. The
Okay.
criminal mind, I don't think anybody will ever solve it. There'll always be pattern,
Right.
but it's us trying to find out, okay, what was the catalyst? What made them do what they do? We don't know that until we actually capture them.
Right.
So it's like, can we do this before we capture them and find the exact person?
Yeah.
Nearly impossible. You could weed down the pool with the
Hmm.
knowledge of profiling, but it's the same thing in the paranormal.
Hmm.
Everybody looks at it different. There are patterns of hauntings, but
Oh
nobody
yeah.
knows exactly why that haunting occurred. What was the catalyst to get this to happen in this house, but it didn't happen to the family before, but it's
Hmm.
happening to this family. What's the
Right.
attachment? Is it a trauma that they brought in? Does the house recognize something in them that's familiar to start acting out? There's energy
Right.
everywhere. So those
Sure.
are all the things we weigh. So
Trisha wanted to know if you're going to have any events in Kentucky or Tennessee.
currently, I'd love to be down there. I love Tennessee. I'm actually back in the day, back in the 90s, I was a demo singer in Nashville. I actually tried out for the first season of Nashville Star, and I was a backup for the TV show. And so I do a lot of singing not as much anymore, just a jack of all trades, master of nothing. And
A true Renaissance man.
yeah,
He
just a
says,
true Renaissance man. But no, Tennessee's important to me. One of my very good friends, he's down there. He does a lot of events with us. James Stokes.
okay.
He's actually one of the current Jason Voorhees and Voorhees, Night of the Beast. He's
Oh, okay.
character actor in a lot of different movies and all that. And so he'll be up at Connecticut Paracon on July 11th. So
Okay.
that'll be fun. And
Ooh,
also Ari Lehman will be there. He's our the first ever Jason, the grand poobah of them all from the first movie. So it's kind of a contrast. We always like to put themes to a lot of our stuff, and that'll be a good one. The first and most recent Jason, all at the
yeah.
same Paracon. So that'll be
So
fun.
she says to come down to the LBL. She's positive you'll see one. Her and her father see
Mhm.
them all the time.
Yeah,
They're like,
I
some
was
people are
thinking that
magnets
moment.
to that. I
Yeah. Well, I love that. I live in Northeast Ohio, so it's some of the most. I think it's listed third in the country as the most Bigfoot sightings.
really?
Yeah. And, we just had to head out to the parks. I got to make myself a little bit more, my partner and I, there was 10 sightings recently. Just after it was weird because the meteorite hit and
Right.
everyone was talking about the meteorite. And that same weeks, there's 10 different sightings. There's some rare bird saw that isn't supposed to be, it was 1,200 miles away from its national. This is all going on. Then there was an earthquake.
I was
And this
just
is
gonna say that
all this stuff was going on at once. And
that's crazy.
yeah, so what a station I do. We say, let's go Bigfoot hunting. Let's go. If they're seeing it, let's go. We're like, oh, who cares if the world's coming to an end? Whatever's going on in Northeast Ohio with the sky
Do you think
falling
when
and
we
heavy
have
duty and everything.
like the
Yeah.
flooding and the tornadoes
Mm.
and all the other stuff that amps everything up?
Yeah. I think really a lot of things got amped up, and it was almost like from the way they said the sightings, where they were happening and how they were happening each day, it was almost like to the point where the Bigfoot were migrating from one point to another, because the weather started warming and it was almost like they were moving to a different spot, which is crazy how they were tracking them. They were tracking them in that angle, like they were going somewhere a little bit warmer or whatever, even though it's warm there at that time.
Hmm.
It was very odd, and we attempted to find Bigfoot, and we didn't find any Bigfoot, but we did find a print that looked a little odd, whether it was a Bigfoot print or not, but it looked pretty interesting. And it was one of the parks where there was at least 2 sightings the day before.
Okay.
So, coincidence, who knows? So,
Yeah.
but it
We were
wasn't Bigfoot.
we were talking before the show, and I was saying the only possible uh, interaction I've ever had with Bigfoot was when we were down in LBL with
Hmm.
Trisha
Yep.
and Greg Ogles doing a documentary, and they had me do the God helmet and the Estes method. And I was telling him when I was sitting there all by myself, just the cameras and the lights and whatnot, everybody else was off, that a football field away, I saw a black shadow. And I'm just thinking it's a shadow person because that's my background. And within a millisecond, it went from there to there.
Yeah.
And some of the guys that are in NCI, North Carolina Investigates, have told me that it could very well have been an alpha charging me to see if I was a threat because I was so open. Not only were they doing the God helmet, the Estes method, in LBL, but it was Halloween weekend and a full moon. We had this storm couldn't have been more perfect.
Yeah.
So,
That's always great. And like I told you before, a lot of times with the God helmet, the type of energy that you're putting off could open those slight, in theory, portals.
mhm.
A lot of people do believe, especially myself. Um, I've never seen one, so I can't really say for sure, but I really do believe that they're interdimensional. That's why
Okay,
we that's why we haven't found one dead on the road or dead
sure.
in the woods somewhere or found a full skeleton or whatever. You find little hair, but if something comes in and out, yeah, it could leave some hair behind. Or if
Yeah.
it feels threatened, it could vibrate out on us. So that's the way I look at it. And the funny thing is when that meteorite came by and they started seeing more, some people do say that they see a shooting star, and then all of a sudden there's Bigfoot sightings, and
Oh, wow.
there's so many different things. And I live right on Lake Erie. There's even the talk of how alien craft come out of the water a lot. Are they living underwater? Is it
Oh,
an interdimensional
oh, like the
portal?
movie Abyss.
Yeah, exactly. So there's so much in this world that I never question, because when it really comes down to it, whether you believe things or what you believe, I do believe there's a God, and God created everything, and everything else, if he created it, I'm not going to second guess what he created, whether it
There
be
you go.
something coming out of the water, Bigfoot, whatever. He create whatever he wants.
Right.
It's a matter of, you know, created or uncreated. The only thing that's uncreated was God. So he had to come
Okay.
from somewhere. So we call him uncreated. Everything else is created. So no matter what you see, a fallen angel, demon, whatever, that's all
Mhm.
created stuff. So
Right.
it's a matter of how we distinguish. We're blown away by it a lot. It's because we've never seen it before.
Right.
But us in
Right.
the field, once we make sense of it, we do have a better grasp of it, and it may not be as scary, which some
Mhm.
people follow us to their
Yeah.
homes because
Yeah.
they have fear. And a lot of things
Mhm.
feed off that fear. But what's the best thing to counteract fear is love. It's the
Mhm.
highest vibration. And that's how we kind of heal people, by
Right.
showing them love for themselves, and to project that, and whatever is going on sometimes dissipates because of
Yeah.
that. So,
That's why I actually, along those lines, I got into this whole podcast business and ended
mhm.
up writing the book and all, was because there was just so much misinformation out there. Now, people just knew that all witches look like goth chicks.
Yeah.
People knew that all witches prayed to Satan. It's like all these just stereotypical things that I like to go through one at a time. And I've had so many young women contact me and say, thank you so much, because I didn't think I was crazy. I can do this, that, or the other. And my family thought, yeah, it's like, you don't, yeah, are there devil worshippers? Of course. Are
Mhm.
there good people and bad people in Christianity? Yeah. Good people and bad people in paganism too. I mean, um, if you take the cross, it's a beautiful thing. You flip her upside down, it's not so good. Same thing with a pentagram or
Yeah.
pentacle. You flip it upside down, it's a whole new meaning. So I see
I
here
mean,
that,
everything has a yin and a yang,
yeah,
but how we look at it.
yeah,
Let's just put it this way: for what I do, people are like, "Oh, you're saying no." The thing is let's take it as a football game. You're a
okay,
football team, okay? You have a playbook, right? And you have to learn all your plays so your offense does well. But what does the defense do? The
right.
defense and the offense have to watch film on
Yeah.
their opponent. If you're a practitioner in this business, you want to bring light to something, you better know what the dark's doing. So
Oh yeah,
you have to study both sides.
yeah.
And even when you do that, especially people out there, people was, oh, I want to see a demon. No, you don't.
No, you don't. No,
I've
you
seen
don't.
some of the worst things ever, and people always ask me to tell stories. I won't, because the thing is, demonology is like fire.
Hmm.
All right. The more oxygen you give it, the bigger the fire gets. It'll
Sure.
overtake you and engulf you. And the only way to counteract that is just like a narcissist. All right. You don't give them information. You don't talk to them anymore. You take away that rhetoric or that
Yeah.
oxygen away, it dissipates. Is it still there? Yes, in a way, but don't
Hmm.
reactivate it. That's what I tell
Yeah.
people about trauma. If you're an alcoholic, you put a name to it. Once
Right.
you put a name to something, you have
Mhm.
control over it. All right. And once you have control over it, it's still going to be there in your memory. You put it
Mhm.
on a little shelf and you let it collect dust, and you never dust it off.
Right.
It's
Eh,
there. It's part of your life. It's part of who you are and how you overcome. Because there's
mhm,
two things in life that are going to happen to you, two
mhm,
decisions you have to make. Am I going to let this eat me alive, or am I
mhm.
going to overcome it? And that's
Right.
it. People complicate our industry.
Mhm.
They
Oh,
complicate
yeah.
life sometimes.
Yeah.
I always tell people, they come to me a lot and they show me these pictures. "Look, what do you think of this?" You know what I tell them? I says, it's a great piece of evidence. How did that help your client? How did that help the spirit? If you
Right.
can't answer that, it means, to me, it means nothing. You didn't help your client, you didn't help spirit. You just have a picture and you're
Right.
running around showing everybody the picture. All the power to you. It's great evidence. I like it. That's cool. You get your 1,000 likes or whatever on Facebook or whatever. But when it comes down to this industry, we have to take care of the people that are in need.
Right.
And a lot of these events that we do, you could learn at, you could hear other people talk their experiences, but you're garnering your own.
Right.
You're learning so you could go in and have better knowledge. Are all of us right? Not everybody's 100%. It's the paranormal.
Absolutely.
Nobody knows
Absolutely.
exactly. There's no such thing as an
Mhm.
expert. There's experience, but you
Yeah.
can't be an expert in something that we can't prove.
Yeah.
Um, and the other thing is, I know there's a lot of people, they try and prove different things. I'm glad they do. I'm glad they're making that effort. If you're doing the work and all
Mhm.
that, and you're making an effort and doing the work to help people, I applaud you. That's what I think everybody should be doing. But if you're doing it for the wrong reasons and you're not doing the work and you're creating havoc, you don't belong in this industry.
Yeah.
Um, and I've seen that a lot. You
Yeah.
know, you've been
It's
doing
unfortunate.
this for a long time. Back in the day, Daphis and I still talk about back in the day where we just sit at a table and exchange ideas and know each other and have each other's back.
Hmm.
Um, but that's the thing is we're trying to push this all forward and help our
Hmm.
clients and help
Sure.
spirit. But that's what it really comes down to. I always tell you a lot of this other stuff that I do, like talking to you right now, I love doing this. But if it all went away tomorrow, I'd still be helping my client and I'd still be
Hmm.
helping spirit. That's what it
Cool.
comes down to. The rest of this is just building by having that purity to go forward in this industry to help people,
Right.
but to not have the ego. Um,
Hmm.
the ego gets in the way of spirit. So and that's like the biggest thing we want to stay away from. And I know all people are going, yeah, you're old man, you don't know anything, and that's fine.
It's okay. I'm
But
an old woman.
yeah, but anybody that watching is like, yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking. That's fine. It's like again with me, I can't prove the paranormal to people. Nobody can
Right.
really. People are either going to get it or they're not going to get it. Some people in this industry, some of them think they know everything. That's fine. Make your mistakes, but hopefully you learn from them.
Right.
If you make the mistakes and don't learn from them, that's another reason not to be doing this because we are.
Hmm.
I don't, I could learn something from somebody who's been doing this for a day to somebody who's been doing this for 50 years. It
Sure.
doesn't matter. You have to have an open mind. You can't have that ego. You could learn from anybody. They could say that one word that says,
Hmm.
that makes sense. Doesn't
Exactly.
matter who you are. And for people to come around with the ego and say, I know everything, you're dangerous.
Yeah. I usually tell people if somebody calls himself an expert, just walk the other way.
Yeah.
If a psychic, a medium, whatever you want to call yourself, tells you this, that, and the other is going to happen to you, take it with a grain of salt. I
Mhm.
tell that to people when I get a vision for them. I said, what I'm seeing is in the now.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're not going to go outside and maybe walk left instead of right. Anything can change at any time. Everything is just fluid. So
Mhm.
I don't do readings per se, but sometimes things pop in there and, or spirit comes and visits, which I got to tell you, I'm happy the last two shows. I don't believe I've had any visitors here because that can be draining, you know,
Yeah.
and I usually end up making people cry and I don't want to make people cry.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Might be a little difficult for me to get into tears right now at this point, but
eh,
that it,
nobody showed
I
up
don't know
for you.
if
So it's okay.
yeah.
What about this picture?
Oh yeah, that is profiled. That's my
Okay.
podcast. It's on every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's carried on All Access Network Television. So
Okay.
it's live on Facebook, YouTube. They're carrying on a few more things. There's potentially going to be on Roku, Fire Stick, and
Awesome.
the, it's a video, but sometimes the video they don't have it on Spotify. It's just us talking. You'll hear the
Right.
talking. Now, profiled so far, I'm up to like 6 episodes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this week's one will be a repeat because I'm actually in Connecticut right now. Even though I'm from Ohio, my aunt had passed away, so I'm
My
in Connecticut right
condolences.
now. That's why you see behind me, I'm in an office room at a hotel. And the funny thing is, yeah, I'm talking about my aunt that passed, but her wake was in North Haven, Connecticut.
Mhm.
Now, me being away, I haven't been with my partner Charles to go check locations out. We already
Right.
decided on our venue for the Connecticut Paracon, which happens to be, of course, I did it on purpose. I booked my hotel stay here at the Clarion in North Haven,
Right.
Connecticut, so
Okay.
I could check out the space myself to make sure that we accommodate all our vendors and our special guests coming up properly. I know Charles could do that plenty fine on his own, but you know me, I'm anal retentive and I have to know what's going on.
Yes, sometimes I get like that, like,
Yeah,
just let me do it.
I gotta check it out. Let me measure it out. You know, I forgot to bring my tape measure with me to measure out spacing and all that, just to see if
Mhm.
we could squeeze in some more vendors to have, you know, fun at our world-class events that we do and all that. So
Well, there you go. Now, this is the most adorable thing in the world. And uh, what I need the story.
okay, so the dog, that's Luna. That is Dr. Letriana Terry Brown and Matt Brown's dog.
Okay.
Uh, Lee Brown was on the show Repossessed, and Matt, her husband's been on a few of the shows with some of his stories of growing up. And they run All Access Network television. So Stacia and I were on a trip down to Florida where we're going away, vacation for a couple weeks before spooky season starts, and we're going to be all over the place. So we decided to stop in and see our friends in South Carolina and their dog Luna, of course. Now, the red one there, that's one of their light up things, but
Hmm.
that's the green one. That's Dickie the dinosaur. So he's our paranormal dinosaur. It's a joke from a TV show that
Okay.
Station and I were on, and some of our other friends, and we decided to bring Dickie back, you know, just for fun. And Dickie's taken on a life of his own, and he
Is this
travels
Dickie the
everywhere.
dinosaur?
Yeah, that one, Dickie, we have him in pink because he changes colors. He's great. He'll be at all the events, and you could get your own Dickie at any of the events. Come to my table. I'll have them for sale. And
It's
the thing
adorable.
is if you tap him very lightly when he's on, he changes colors, so he becomes a paranormal piece of equipment, like a cat ball. And
Okay.
you could tap him, he'll change colors, so you might have an energy or something there potentially. And that picture that you just saw, that's at the Common Restaurant in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
So we were there too, and that's where my oldest daughter graduated from SCAD University. And
Okay.
so I like going there because I like staying at all the different places, but the Marshall House Hotel is unbelievably haunted, and I enjoy staying there. We always
What,
have cool
what
stuff
kind of
that happens.
experiences have you had there?
So when we went, we got up. We were on the second floor, and history has the second floor is where they kept the kids during the yellow fever. So that's, you know, that was the thing. I don't tell Stacia any of this stuff because she's a psychic medium, shaman. She's
Hmm.
known as a Mulfor. Her family was, you know, 11 generations from the Carpathian Mountains, Rusin people. There's
Hmm.
not many of them left because back in World War One, her families were rounded up, put in concentration camps during World War One. Because of their magical abilities, there was fear,
Yeah.
and you know how fear goes, witch trials, things like that. But
Yep.
a lot of her bloodline's not around anymore. There's maybe 120,000 of them left in the world. So with that, you know, she picks up on things like that's all she's known. She doesn't know any better. Family, generation to generation, they all
Yeah.
have this ability. And we went into the hotel, got on the second floor, and as soon as we got off the elevator, you could feel the energy bubble. Boom. You
Okay.
enter in, you're like, you know, you've entered into something. As
Yeah.
we got to the room, the door opens, and I went in, and it was almost like I let something out because she said she felt like a bunch of little kids. You know how when they run
Mhm.
around and they don't care you're there and they brush against you?
Yeah.
We had the rush of kids running by her, and she
Yeah.
didn't know that that was the second floor was for all the kids. So she picked up on that, and then we get into our room, and we just had all kinds of just like face. She was taking a shower, and the face formed in the glass and was looking at her, and she turned
Oh,
around and says,
cool.
"Who are you looking at, pervert?" We just have normal conversations with spirits. Their meat suit's gone, but we still like we're talking right
Yeah.
now. That's how we
Yeah.
talk to spirits because they come to us a lot, even in our apartment. So it's like okay, what do you need? What can we help you with?
Yeah.
But we got to the point of the night where we decided to set up, and we
Mhm.
put a dead bell up, on the where the fireplace was. We put a dead bell up there, and we had the SLS camera going. And we're saying, "Hey, can you ring the bell?" And the bell starts bing, bing, bing. We can hear the bell ringing. I put the SLS camera. There's a stick figure sitting Indian style, and you could see the hand going up and down as the bell rang. So it was almost that piece of equipment gave validation to the other. So that
Right.
was pretty wild. That was pretty wild for that to happen.
Hmm.
And we were doing this was on a live. We did a like short live,
Okay. Okay.
and yeah, it was crazy. But we have fun with the spirits. People get
Yeah.
too serious. You think about it. When you go to a party, don't you guys want to have a good time and have laughs with your friends?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't you think the spirits want to do the same thing too? We go
And
in, you have your history, you know what's going on, you know what happened. You know, it's even when my aunt was in hospice, because we're here for the wake. And I talked to my cousins, I did a shamanic blessing. I lit candles for her to have a safe journey.
right.
And I told my cousin, I says, listen, I says, I know she's going, I know you're sad, but as she's laying there, I already knew her spirit left. Her body was still there functioning.
Yeah.
But I said to her, I want you to talk to her and talk about funny stuff that happened when you were growing up. Her spirit's still there watching as you guys are going back and forth. So she did that. And as the candles were burning, no movement in the candles. If you've done candle work, when there's
Hmm.
no movement and it's perfectly still, there's peace. So I knew
Yeah.
my she passed peacefully. So
Um,
that spirit went, and that was like very nice to see. But yeah, you never know how the spirit world works. So and it does get crazy.
oh, they were saying that something like that happened to them on Sunday.
Really.
Yeah, I don't. I think she saw a critter. Like when I say critter, like a dog man, or I know she's seen a dog man before. I've
Yeah.
seen the video, and it's hair raising to see this thing was so close to them.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything like a dog man before?
I've seen all kinds of weird stuff. A lot of
Okay.
times, like we talked about elementals, being a
Hmm.
shaman, I'm open to that, especially when we're doing land blessings. And sometimes when you give good offering, things do come out to thank you in
Hmm.
that elemental form. Um, I did. The funny part is when I first talked to Stacia, we were planning on doing we were on the same show, but we planned on doing a documentary at a home in Connecticut. And I didn't know what her abilities were and all. So it's like some people call me and they go, "Hey, my name is so and so," and all that. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay." Because you get a lot of people that call and you want to be nice to everybody and all. I really didn't know her at the time. And then she did a call because they were doing some work at this house and she had something in her backyard. Um,
Okay.
and she says, it's coming from the Enfield house. She said it looked like a minotaur, like up in the trees that she kind of leaned in on this house in the yard like a minotaur. And she called me and she says, "Do you know anything about a minotaur in their backyard?" And I'm like, "You saw it." That's when I knew she was the real deal because when I was interviewing this family,
Uh huh.
they were facing me, I was facing, and I could see the tree line behind me. I saw the same thing. 2 days
Oof.
later, she calls me with this message. Do you know anything about a minotaur and all that? And yeah, so I said, she saw it. These are
Okay.
things like sometimes for me, especially running events like we were talking about, and Charles knows this, I like to sit with all the psychic mediums and vet them because I want to
Right.
make sure that we have the right people because I don't want a patron to come and necessarily not get a good reading because somebody's not truthful.
Right.
But sometimes you could have the best medium and not get a good reading because you don't vibe.
Yeah.
It could happen. It's with anybody. You could be the best at what you do.
Yeah.
That's why I always tell people when they come into an event. Of course, I want my partner to get all the people.
Right.
Because
Right. Right.
we got to make a living. But the thing is my thing that I tell people when they come in, walk around the event for all the psychics. Whoever you feel the closest to, sit with them no
Hmm.
matter how big the line is, because that's the person for you.
Right.
Even though you don't feel you have intuition, we all have it. We all have that
Hmm.
gut feeling. We're all born with the ability to see. It just goes away when critical thinking kicks in. Because
Right.
when you're born, you always have your imaginary friend. Who knows where that imaginary friend is? You might be seeing grandpa and all that
Yeah.
at a young age because you don't have that stuff that shuts it off and all that stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of times it could be a family's religious beliefs
Hmm.
that come into it, or just, crazy people see these things. And
Yeah.
I was fortunate that I'm a third generation, and my mother adored her grandmother.
Hmm.
So when I came into this world with the veil, the thin, downy covering, she went, she's gonna be just like Grandma Croft. And sure enough, they never, she had to talk to my father a lot and explain things, but she never encouraged or
There's
discouraged.
always somebody you have to talk to.
Well, I mean, he was one of those guys that if he saw it, he believed it. Otherwise,
Mhm.
he didn't believe anything. And there was one story with him I'm going to tell really quick. We would go down every now and then to Louisiana in the French quarters. Well, I'm going to be 61, and I was in diapers back then. So we're talking a long time ago. Um, they're in the car, and it's my mom, my dad, a half brother, an aunt, a step brother, and me in this little diaper situation. And they're driving back home, and it's two in a boat of a Cadillac, and everybody is making fun of Marie Laveau.
Oh boy,
You don't make
not a
fun of
good,
Marie.
not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
Mm.
So they're making fun and having a good time and just being stupid kids, right?
Mhm.
And the more they did it, the more this fog started rolling in, to the point where it bothered my father, I'm told. And it kind of scared him a little bit. And he says, "Everybody just be quiet. I don't know where I am." And he sees this sign for, I'm going to make this one up, Route 7, because I don't know what the route name was,
Yeah, yeah.
number was. And he goes, "Okay, everybody just shut up and let me get my
Mhm.
bearings straight."
Yeah.
And he went a little bit farther, and there was a roadside diner. So he goes in and he talks to the waitress and a couple of the truck drivers that are in there. He explained his situation. He's gone back to Baltimore. He just passed Route 7. How does he get to Route whatever? And they said, "There is no Route 7. There's no Route 7, sir. You just go here, there, and there." He got back in the car and he said, "I want everybody to apologize and apologize now, and you better mean it." And then
Mhm.
not another word.
Mhm.
And after that, the fog dissipated. He got back on track, and like I said, no, I know little to nothing about voodoo, but I respect the lady. I'm not going to mess with her.
It doesn't matter where you are at any time.
Hmm.
You have the intention of somebody,
Hmm.
and you throw ill will out there. The
Hmm.
universe will come back and slap you, whether it be right away or
Yeah.
sooner or later. You
Yeah.
know, you have the intention, and you do wrong by somebody. You know, if I know that, I'm the type of guy where, your intention will be used against you,
Yeah.
and that's your own fault.
Yeah.
Karma sucks, and karma is going to come back and show you who you are in the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
So I always tell people it's like, just be good to each other.
Yeah.
Don't cause problems, especially, I know there's a lot of drama that happens in this industry, but again, like I said,
Hmm.
do right by your client and for
Hmm.
spirit, and the
Yeah.
rest of this stuff will work out. Look in the mirror and be happy with who you are, and
Right.
that will expound on and cause the ripple where, better things happen. But I
Right.
know that's, it sounds like happy joy and all that, all kumbaya. We know it's never going to happen because there's always
Right.
going to be somebody that's trying to one up or do this. Again, that's great and
Hmm.
all that. But again, I'm always going to ask, somebody always going to want to show me footage or something. What did that do for your client? What did it do for spirit? Did you
Yeah.
help somebody heal? Did you come
Right.
to a conclusion? If you
Right.
haven't done that, all the power to you. I love that you're trying, but for me, in my book, for me personally, that doesn't work for me. So
Right. Right. And if
that's
you're
me.
like you said, with intention, that's a huge part
Mhm.
of my world. I tell people throughout the book, it's your intent. You don't have to have one tool at your ready. If your intent is positive, if your intent is, this is really what I want, and you're not just in it to get back at an ex, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife,
It'll come
you know,
back on you.
Yeah.
If you're sending stuff out or you're reversing stuff back,
Hmm.
the intent is whatever their intent was against you.
Hmm.
If it's perceived as ill intent, the universe will take care of it. You're throwing
Right.
that back out there. I'm not saying I wish this, whatever. I said,
Right.
whatever they sent at me, I send back tenfold.
Yeah.
And then let things fall into place. That's the way you are as a shaman. That's the nice way of doing it.
Yeah.
It'll,
We've all been wronged in life,
oh yeah.
and I can honestly say I've never wished ill will on anybody just because of how I was brought up. But what I do is ask karma to let them feel what they did so
Hmm.
that they're not punished, but that they understand and they don't do it to someone else in the future. So there's kind of ways around it,
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing is like I said earlier about putting a name to something
Hmm.
and then you have power over it.
Right.
You want to know what's very powerful? If you get angry,
Hmm.
you allowed yourself to get angry.
Yeah.
You have control over that. You have control over your feelings to an extent. We're going to have sadness, stuff like that, things that happen,
Hmm.
but you have more control over your anger. So if somebody makes you angry and you allow it,
Right.
you gave into them.
Right.
You gave into that bad intention. So you could take it in as it is in a calm way. I know it's easier said than done. Just take it in, and I'm going to be like, duly noted. All right. Later on, when I go into meditation, I could say whatever ill will was done, reverse it
Hmm.
back. So,
Hmm.
but if
Awesome.
you feel that anger and you do it out of anger, then karma
Yeah.
could come back on you too. It's when you
Oh
point
yeah.
the finger and you got the three pointing back at you. It's
Hmm.
coming back. So
Oh, definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
So
So
all these people that all get mad at each other and do this and do that, there's never a solution because
yeah,
bad things are just going to keep happening back and forth to each
yeah.
other.
It's like
You
a
know?
tiger chasing its tail. It's never going to stop.
It
So
is. It is. That's the hard part. Oh, that's what any industry. I keep talking because we're in the paranormal. That's what we're talking about. But
it
there's,
could be anywhere. Yeah.
any profession when you have to work with somebody, there's good ones, there's bad ones.
Hmm.
How you deal with it, who you let allow to anger you. It's a big part of healing too. I had to work through a lot of that myself. Anything
Hmm.
that Wardruna does, all the things that we help, a lot of the practitioners in Wardruna have been through them. We've
Yeah.
run through the process. It works.
Right.
And we want other people to know. For me, you know, and I've said this a lot and people don't understand. Yeah, I'm a shaman. I don't drink anymore. I don't smoke. There's a lot of things I don't do, but that's
Hmm.
part of my journey that had to change. A
Right.
year ago, I was an alcoholic. I was
Okay.
drinking over 3 bottles of bourbon a week.
Ooh.
My trauma going on at the time, the relationship I was in, the job I didn't like,
Hmm.
and that's my human side of me. Spiritually, I knew I was doing wrong,
Right.
and but the thing is you come to a point where you meet the right people in life and they
Right.
say, hey, look at yourself in the mirror. You're
Yeah.
doing this to yourself, and you accept that and you make that change and you lighten more, you level up. In our industry, it's leveling up and seeing
Hmm.
things for what they are.
Hmm.
I put a name to it. I took control of it, and I don't drink anymore. And
Oh,
my
cool.
abilities have opened up too. Spirits
Oh,
opened up because I'm not bringing in my inner demons
right.
have been released with that. I think that's what it is sometimes. It's still there. I know it's there. It's on the shelf. But
Yeah.
something I had to deal with my trauma and go through the Wardruna process and rid myself of that. And anybody could do that because I always tell people if I could do it, anybody can. It's a matter of making that commitment,
Yeah.
having the right intention for it also to go
No.
forward.
Well, well done on the sobriety.
Yeah.
Very well done.
And I have
Very.
no problem ever talking about it because if it wasn't for Wardruna practitioners, then who knows what I'd be like right now at this moment. I know it's only been a year, but still, a lot
That's a
has
big
happened
first
to me.
step. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very open about my clinical depression and anxiety, and then I have
Mhm.
fibromyalgia and like a whole little buffet of things.
Yeah.
But I talk about them openly because you don't know who you're going to help or who you're going to let know, it's not out of the ordinary. There are these things, there are resources there,
Yeah.
all of it. So
We
we
have
are,
that word, Juna.
yeah, we're at the top of the hour already,
Yes.
and it never feels like it when I get to chat with you.
Yeah.
Promote the living daylights out of yourself, and then I'm going to close out the show.
Well, we got all the events coming up. Like I said, the Psychic Fair at the end of May here. You'll see it all over my Facebook, Thomas Patrick, TikTok, Instagram, Archangel of the Paranormal. So we have our Wardruna group, of course, our global events group, the Shaman and the Showman, all of our events. Connecticut Paracon, July 11th, the Connecticut Witch Culture Festival, August 8th and 9th. The Salem Paracon will be November 14th. Stacia and I, as Wardruna, will be talking all over the country this year. Some of the ones coming up will be in New Orleans for the New Orleans Paracon, the Cleveland Paracon, the Hollow in New Jersey, Hollow Film Festival. We will also be at the Underworld Culture Con. We will be at Gettysburg for the Gettysburg Bash. Every event going on at the Haunted Hillview Manor we'll be at, because we're supporting our friend Carrie, who
Okay.
runs and trying to get the roof fixed. So anybody wants to help get the roof fixed, go to hauntedhillviewmanor.com. There's a link there to be able to help them out, keep that location going, and keep everybody happy and touring and getting to see the spookies that happen at that location.
Awesome.
There's so much stuff that we're involved in. Hopefully I don't miss too many of these things. Mass Paracon with Sam. There's so many things going on. I lose track. Stacia keeps the records. She has the schedule. I have no idea. I have to ask, what do I got going on today?
What am I doing today?
We have a podcast tonight. Oh, okay. So she keeps
Awesome.
all that. But hopefully I didn't miss anybody. But any event that we're at, everybody's doing such a great job. It's like advertise, and it's always our job when we go to somebody else's event, as long as I'm not running it, to make sure we advertise for them,
Right.
to make sure we bring our pool of people there. That's what I always ask. Anytime you're invited to be at an event, you have a different pool of fans or people that follow you. So
Right.
promote it. Have
Yeah.
them come out and see you. If nobody
Common
knows,
courtesy.
nobody's coming. So promote for everybody's event. Anybody you like and all that, and promote and be behind everybody, so the message is there, so that one person shows up and hears you talk and you save a life. So that's
Yeah.
what it is sometimes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
make sure you get everybody there that should be there. So.
And how do they get a hold of you?
Well, I'm on Facebook, of course, Thomas Patrick. You can instant message me. I don't give too much information out unless you become a client, where I do spiritual life coaching and all that, which is part of the Wardruna. So we're kind of in the process of changing up the website, so it's kind of
Okay.
off right now. But that's going to be coming back up pretty soon. I think we have it at wardruna.net. So don't quote me on that, but that way you get on that and it'll have all the practitioners and anything that they can provide for you as the life coaching or metaphysical, any types of things that we provide. But along with our big speaking tour all over the place. So I think
I'm tired listening to you.
we're going to be in about 19 states talking and bringing, whether I'm with Charles, and most of the time it's going to be with Stacia and other people that are part of Wardruna will be talking with us, off and on, something like the Hollow, which is celebrating mental health awareness. We do
Right.
have one of our top practitioners that does the EMDR and DBR to demonstrate and show how that works, part of our
Okay.
talk, so they could see what it's all about, so people are more aware of
Okay.
other types of treatment that may help them get through some traumatic times.
Sure.
So I'm excited about that.
Awesome. Awesome. You're always so good to talk to.
I have fun talking to you too. We always have fun. Hopefully everybody watching had fun too. And
I'm
send any questions, anything like that. Of course, follow Tracy's show and come watch me on Profiled on Thursdays on All Access Network Television. Just anything on All Access Network Television. It's such an array of different shows like yours and all that. And everybody's awesome. And, subscribe, of course, to your
Yeah.
channel, subscribe to All Access Network Television. Come out and see us at all the events. Come buy your own personal Dickie the Dinosaur and, you know, all that.
Like,
And, yeah, and hopefully this year I'll get to see a Bigfoot. I'll
careful
complete
what you wish for. Careful what you
oh,
wish for.
I know. As long as I see one that doesn't eat me, I'm good.
Okay. With
So,
that being said, I'm going to put you in the green room. If you have to get on with life, you go ahead. If not, I'll be back to say good night in
perfect.
just a few minutes. So thanks. Thank you for tuning in to Beyond the Veil with the Paranormal White Witch, me, Tracy. Tonight's Did You Know? Okay, so we have Easter eggs, right? And they're fun and we decorate them, but they're, did you know, pagan in origin? It was originally from the Germanic pagans, and it represented the goddess of spring and fertility. And they would have festivals and hunt for the eggs. And it also represented new life and rebirth. And the eggs themselves were just such a perfect symbol of starting anew that they would give to each other. Decorated eggs were highly coveted. They would have regular eggs and then they have the decorated eggs. So they had that. And for my book tonight, I'm going to let you know of a few. I'm not going to read, I promise. It's just a couple little things. I have a section called Did You Know Common Misnomers in Witchcraft Lore? Did you know that many of the strange or unsettling ingredients mentioned in old witchcraft texts are actually misnomers, symbolic or coded names rather than literal body parts or creatures? Historically, witches, herbalists, and folk practitioners often used nicknames and poetic language to describe plants, stones, and natural materials. This served two purposes: protecting knowledge from persecution, because we all know what happened back in the day, and making information easier to remember, and preserving oral tradition through metaphor and story. For example, eye of newt. Is it really the eye of newt? No, it was mustard seed. Toe of frog. It wasn't a toe of frog? No, it was holly. Excuse me, it wasn't holly. It was a buttercup. Wrong page. Wool of bat. Now that was holly, the leaves. And if you think about it, they do kind of look like a bat. Tongue of dog. No, they didn't actually use tongue of dog. It's a houndstone or similar textured stone, often connected with grounding and truth. And finally, the adder's fork, not a serpent's tongue, but an adder's tongue fern. There's a fern out there that the plant is used in magic and medicine and so forth. So thank you for tuning in. Again, if you have any questions or you just need to, talk to somebody who'll get it, send me a message at paranormalwhitewitch@gmail.com or look for me on my Facebook, Tracy Lynn Jones, TRACEY. Excuse me, Lynn Jones on Facebook, and I will get back to you. Until next time, thank you so much.